Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I am here with the coach, John Brent.
Man, I'm here with the vet, Mr. Ian Griffin, and it is a great week. I guarantee you that.
It is, it is, it is. You know, the regular season of NFL is kaput, done, put to bed. Even though the Chargers and Raiders wanted to play a 20-hour long game or something crap.
What
That was a way to
game.
end the season, man. Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
gosh.
Yeah,
So
I have to say, with that ending of the regular season, and then Georgia beating Alabama the way they did at the end, man, what a great couple nights of games right there.
I agree. I agree. It's been good. So tonight, coach, we got two guys from Pittsburgh, Texas. I got up in the upper right corner, Alan Bailey, who we all know. And then I had the guy directly above me, Mr. Jerry Jackson, that we all know. And so we're going to talk about the playoffs. We're going to talk about all the teams. Did it meet our expectations? Did it not? And who do we think is going to go forward? And, of course, we'll close out with the Cowboys and a few other things. So, Coach, I'm going to throw it over to you first, if that's all right. Go ahead.
Man, I'm just telling you, what a great – I mean, I tell you, it's one of those things. Every time the season starts, it's like it takes forever to start. And then it's like next thing you know, it's week 4. Next thing you know, it's halfway through. Right. And then next thing you know, it's like 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's the playoffs. You know, the saddest part is I told my wife last night watching the Georgia game, she says, is this the last college game? I said, yeah, and in 5 weeks we have no NFL. I mean, it's a good time of the year, but also going to be a sad time.
But we will have the USFL coming out. Ooh.
Wow. I don't know what to think about it.
I don't either, Coach. That'll be something unique and different. And I don't know who I'd even hitch my wagon to in regards to all that. I don't know. Herschel Walker should own one of the teams is my thinking. Him or Warren Moon or Jim Kelly, because they all played on, one. So, but let's start it off, Coach. Let's get it going here, and let's kick it around, and let's see what we got.
All right. Y'all go ahead. Tell me what you got. Tell me how you think the season ended from the NFL standpoint, not the Cowboys standpoint yet, but just the NFL season. Alan, you start.
I'm gonna tell you, I think the season was pretty good. I think we had some shockers this year. I mean, I didn't expect the Bengals to be there. I mean, they had the opportunity, they had the people to do it. But I think Burrows is showing everybody that he's not scared of anybody. Somebody tell him, hey, you got to go play Tom Brady, and his thinking is, hey, he's got to come play me too. So I think Burrows is ready. I think Bengals might make a run over there on that side. The Raiders, I think they're one and done. I mean, they're good. They can play when they got to play, but I think they showed us their last bit the other night when they beat up on the Chargers. Patriots, I didn't think the Patriots was going to be there this season. That was my big shocker. We talked about it the last podcast. The Patriots was a big shocker to me. I was not expecting that. I like seeing Pittsburgh in there. I don't like Pittsburgh, but I like to see Big Ben go out at least to his last hurrahs in a playoff game. Hell, I'm going to even root for him. I've never root for a Steelers team a day in my life. But I'm going to root for them this week because I can't remember who they're playing off the top of my head. The Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm rooting for the Steelers just to beat the Chiefs. Yeah. I said that this week. I'm going underdog all week. I'm taking them. I'm going to even root for the freaking Eagles. And I know they don't probably have a prayer, but I'm going to take the Eagles this weekend. The Chiefs, I think we all knew when the season started, we knew the Chiefs were going to be there. They started off and went into a little slump. But, hey, we all knew the Chiefs. They were going to be okay once they got going. COVID didn't hit them too bad, and they were able to run it. Everything, I think pretty much everybody that's in the playoffs, except for a few, is exactly who we thought were going to be in the playoffs. I think the Cardinals and the Rams, that might be a pretty good game right there. I'm kind of hoping the Cardinals knock the Rams out, get that defense of theirs out of the playoffs. That'll give everybody else in the NFC a fighting chance. And I think personally, Green Bay, hey, we know who Green Bay is. If you don't stop Rodgers and you don't cover Adams, they're going to eat your lunch all night long because Rodgers is going to get the ball to Adams. That's what an elite quarterback does. He gets the football to his elite receivers like we should be getting the ball to freaking Cooper. But we can talk about Cooper later. But I think the season went great. I think it was a great season. Doing these podcasts better every 3 or 4 weeks made it even a better season.
Well, Jerry, tell me what you think about the season.
Well, I kind of agree with Alan. You know, things played out the way we thought it would, except for, I said, the Chiefs wouldn't even make the playoffs. I said that right on this show, and they did. I think they're going to beat the Steelers. I do. I think Big Ben's one and done. I really do. My shocker overall, though, I told Ian the other night, it was the Colts. Man, they were doing so well. Then they went to Jacksonville and got waxed. And I didn't even don't realize it on Sunday, but they got waxed and they didn't even make it, and they were there. And they just gave up the ghost. I mean, Carson Wentz is who I think he is. I never thought Carson Wentz was that good. He didn't do anything with the Super Bowl. That was all Nick Foles. I mean, and we know what Nick Foles is. He's a second string at best. So, as far as the Bills and the Patriots go, I'm taking the Patriots. I'm taking the Patriots over the Bills. I am. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Bill Belichick, and that rookie quarterback they got is the real deal. And Belichick's pouring his knowledge into him, and I actually think that they can upset the Bills. And in my house, my wife is a Raiders fan, and so we have a lot of arguments over the Raiders. I'm really pulling for Joe Burrows deep in my heart because I do like LSU, where he came from. But I think the Raiders are one and done also, and that's just my point of view. Now, when you go over here, I'm picking the Eagles. I'm doing Alan Bailey. I'm going to take the Eagles over Tampa Bay. I think the Eagles are going to get after Brady because Brady's weapons are still hurt. And I mean, he's got Gronk, and if you take Gronk out of it and you get to Brady, you can beat him. And I think the Eagles are going to dial that up and go after him. And the Cardinals over the Rams. I think our Texas boy Kyler Murray is gonna beat our other Texas boy Stafford. I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more. I think they're going to use Murray's legs a little bit to get their offense going. And when it comes to us, this game scares me. When the San Francisco game scares me a lot. But I think that we're going to see a more mobile Dak. What we saw the other night with him running around a little bit, I think we're going to see some of that. I think it's like he said, the other day, the big news was now the shit starts. And I believe that. I think we're going to see a side of him where he's going to roll the pocket out, pass on the run, do some quarterback draws, and they're going to have to contend with him too. And I'm going to take our Cowboys, and we'll talk more about them in a little bit.
Go ahead, Vet.
Well, first of all, I really thought the Browns would have been a little bit better than they were. And now I know they hit the COVID bug hard, and it took them down at some key times. But I really thought Baker Mayfield would show us something, and he showed us something, but not probably what we wanted to see this year, And but he did show that he's tough. I mean, he reminded me of Romo. He's out there with everything broken, and he's trying to play still. And maybe that wasn't the wise thing for him to do. That's the first surprise. I was surprised at the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is the freaking real deal. Of all the quarterbacks in the last 2 years, that guy is a winner, and he don't like losing. Will they go far this year? I don't know, but I think he's going to be something that we're going to talk a lot about over the next few years. The Steelers, I don't want them to do anything because I can't stand them. I can't stand Ben Roethlisberger, the dang 2-time sexual assault offender. But anyway, that's just me saying it out loud. But I can't stand the Steelers. The only thing that I like about the Steelers is I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's a hell of a coach. I think he's got grace, and I think he's got class. And but other than that, so that surprised me. But one thing that surprised me, I didn't think they would go far, but is the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens suffered from the same thing the San Diego Chargers suffered from. If their coach wouldn't have made bonehead decisions, they would have won 2 or 3 more games and be in the damn playoffs right now as we speak. But their coach went 4th and 2 or 4th and goal twice when he could have just kicked the extra point and tied it, put in overtime. Out of the 2 or 3 games, he would have won one of them. Hello. And then the freaking guy out at San Diego did exactly the same thing. You're like, who goes on 4th down on your own 18 in the middle of the 3rd quarter and you're only down by 3? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So those surprise me. The Patriots did surprise me, but I'm going to tell you, I think the Bills are going to handle them, and they're going to handle them pretty well. I think that game's pretty much a lock. I think the Chiefs game's a lock. They're going to handle the Steelers like it's nobody's business. I do think the Bengals and the Raider game will be a toss-up. I do. I think Joe Burrows will prevail, but which Raiders show up? That's always been the question. When it comes to NFC side, when it comes to Cardinals and the Rams, I honestly think that the Rams are going to spank the Cardinals across the field and back. I don't have a high opinion of Kyler Murray. He runs, but when he throws, sometimes it's beautiful, and sometimes maybe the water boy catches it too. I don't know. And my opinion of him is he's nothing more than a Lamar Jackson. He puts up beautiful stats in the regular season. He's going to sit on the pine in the postseason. I could be wrong, but that's just me. When it comes to the Eagles and the Bucks, I agree with you, Jerry. I think of all games in the NFC East, that game right there has the potential to be a big upset. I think the Bucks are disoriented and they're down. The only saving grace they got is number 12. Number 12 can come through anything, but number 12 don't tackle, and number 12 don't stop the run. And I think the Eagles are going to pound that ball from 3 different people to include the running back. And I think they're going to keep Tom Brady over there with that iPad that he threw in the Dixie dumpster. And they're going to make him hold that thing again for a while. I think if there's a potential for a major upset in the NFC, I think that one's it. Now, the 49ers, to me, have been just as inconsistent as the Cowboys has. So who has a consistent day is going to win. We figured that. I think the Cowboys prevail. I'm hoping all the myths come true, but I think they'll prevail. The top 2 seeds, the Titans and the Green Bay Packers, they own the bye. And I will say this is they're not 100% where they can't be beat. Except for the next to the last game of the season, the last 4 games prior to that, the Packers look very suspect, barely squeezing by some teams that they should have beat easily. I think Aaron Rodgers is great, and as long as he has the refs in his hands, he's invincible. I mean, I'll just say it what it is. And I don't know. That's hard to beat, is that combination right there. I didn't mention Adams. I meant the refs, him and the refs. As long as he has those, he'll be all right. But I think reality is about to hit this year. And it might not be the Cowboys. It might be the Rams. It might be the Rams or the Cowboys that are going to punch them in the throat. And one thing that the Packers are not good on, the Browns only put 220 yards on them. Only 220 yards rushing on them. And they controlled that game, even throwing 4 interceptions. And there's 2 teams that will be able to run on them. And I think that's going to happen, no matter how bad they look lately. So the Titans, that's a hard one for me because they have a week gone. They look, hey, we can do anything. And they have a week like, I can't find my receivers and we don't have my star running back. So that's a hard one. I do not think there's a single team in the playoffs right now like it was with the 94, 93, 92, 95, Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. There's not one of those. Now, I think all but 2 of these teams could go to the Super Bowl, to be honest. I think any of them could beat because none of them are that formidable. It's not like the 49ers playing the Barry Sanders Bears. I mean, the Barry Sanders Lions. There's no cakewalks like that. So that's my thoughts, Coach, on the season so far.
Well, I'm going to have a little bit of a different take on some of the teams. One of the things I'll look at is, first of all, y'all covered them, is some of the teams that are out that are surprising me. Of course, the Ravens, Cleveland going into – I mean, Cleveland was so hyped at the beginning of the year. They were talking about Cleveland might, go for home field advantage. Wasn't that a joke? Yeah. And then the Colts playing so well mid-season and falling out at the end was really a surprise to me because the Colts are kind of like San Francisco to me. They'd be a hard out for anybody because of the coaching that they have with Frank Reich and the way they can run the ball. Kind of like the way I feel about the 49ers, that they can run the ball. They're very physical. So the Colts being out was kind of surprising me. the two teams that surprised me the most by being in the playoffs, number one is Philadelphia, because I said early on in the beginning of the year, Philadelphia is terrible. And Philadelphia played really well down the stretch. Of course, we didn't have to play their best team in the last game because it didn't matter. The Patriots is another team that surprised me at the beginning of the year because the quarterback is not Tom Brady. It was kind of a last year Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. Everybody's thinking, Belichick wasn't the big part of it. It was just Brady. Now we realize that they both were a huge part of it. One thing that we said early on, and I agreed with Jerry, I was like, man, maybe the Chiefs don't make the playoffs. They started out 2-3 and then 3-4. But listen to this, guys. Since they went 3-4, they're 9-1 since then. So the last 10 games, they've won 9. The Titans, the last 10 games, are 7-3. Those two teams, to me, in the AFC are the two best teams. And I really think those teams, if they play their best game, they will make it, to the AFC Championship. There are some teams like the Bengals that can scare somebody with some downfield receivers. Also, the Patriots. Now, this is something I looked up while y'all were talking. We always have to look at when you play in New England or play in Buffalo, what's the weather going to be? Now, both those teams are Northeast teams. But remember the last time they played, I want to say that the quarterback for the Patriots threw less than 6 or 7 times the total game. Well, guess what the temperature is supposed to be on Saturday at kickoff? 5 degrees, -7 wind chill. The wind's not going to be as bad. So I think that's really not and it's not supposed to snow. So I do think that's really an advantage for the Bills, because if the Bills can throw and the Patriots feel like they have to throw to keep up, I think the Bills will win that game. So, but I do still think that in the AFC, it's Kansas City and the Titans, just because not only that the Titans have learned to run the ball without Henry, having this extra week, Henry's coming back. We also got the receiver coming back, and that's going to be a really big help for them. And Tannehill, we forget, at the beginning of the year, I said the Titans are the second best team in the AFC. To me, Tannehill's been a solid quarterback all year. No, he's not a Mahomes. No, he's not a Brady. No, he's not a Rodgers. But he's in that, to me, he's a top 10 quarterback. All right, now looking at the NFC, this is difficult. I do believe that anybody can win from week to week, but when it comes down to the playoffs, there's no way involved. And I'll bet a case of Zevia against a case of Dr. Pepper that there's no way that Philadelphia beats the Bucs. Okay, let's just be real. All right, I'll bet that. You want to take it? You want to take the Dr. Pepper with a case of Zevia?
Coach, I'm not taking that bet. What I'm saying is I believe that could be the upset. It depends on how
it's
they
not
play.
the upset. The upset is going to be a 4 and a 5. Whoever wins that game is upset that they beat the other one, because just when we talked 4 or 5 weeks ago, Cardinals were still going for a number 1 seed. Now they're the 4 seed, right? Right. And then the Rams, we're talking about maybe they could be a 2 or 3. Now it's a 4-5 switch. Both are 4 or 5, but we're talking about 1 and 2 just 4 weeks ago for those teams that they had a possibility. The Cowboys playing the 49ers, my God, I wish we'd have played Philly. I wish we'd have played the Rams. I wish we'd have played the Cardinals. But playing the 49ers is one of those scary teams, like the Giants when they make a run. The Steelers made a run a few years ago. That's the type of team they are. And I'm not saying we can't beat them, and we should be. My prediction is going to be that we're going to win the game by 2 points. That's my prediction. But it's going to be a close game. It's going to be one of those back and forth games, and it's going to be scary. It's going to be loud. Bet we're going to need to bring us some earplugs. I'm just telling you, I'm too dang old to lose my hearing right now. But
I ain't got no damn hearing, so we'll be good.
All right, so AFC, I really believe it'll be the Titans. The Chiefs will go to the Titans and play, and I really think this, and y'all going to be surprised on this, I think the Bucs and the Packers are going to play again, and this time I think the Packers are going to win. That's just my opinion.
I think the Packers going to get humiliated. And because I think they're going to wind up playing us Cowboys, and what I'll say is that, and I've said this all along, is they've set it up in Wisconsin on the news networks up there. The one team they fear wears his colors right here, and Mike McCarthy is going to go do a John Gruden on them, like with the Oakland Raiders and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's going to say, when Aaron Rodgers does this, you go here, and he calls it like this, and he does his head like this when he goes, Hey, ref, you got me? I mean, ref, I got the money coming to you. That's how he plays.
Hey,
when he does that, I think Mike McCarthy is going to stand under the center and practice doing his Aaron Rodgers voice for at least one practice.
You know how a lot of times head coaches will go, if we win this championship, I'll shave my head. I'm not going to shave my head, but I'm going to tell you right now, if Dak Prescott and the Cowboys beat Tom Brady, then beat Aaron Rodgers, and then beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl, I'm telling you right now, I'm getting a number 4 tattoo on the back.
That is awesome. I want to see it this size.
No, it won't be that size, but it'll be right back there, and I'll put Dak right under it.
Oh my goodness!
You hear that, Jerry?
So one thing I will say, Coach, is this: is Ian Griffin's only owned 3 quarterback jerseys for the Dallas Cowboys. I've owned a Roger Staubach jersey. I've owned a Troy Aikman jersey, and I own this jersey. Now,
I bought one today. It was not a quarterback.
Yeah, I know. So I've only worn Super Bowl winning jerseys for the Dallas Cowboys. So what do you think, Alan? Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, Rodgers, he does this every time. He gets them there, but he can't do nothing once he gets there. He gets embarrassed. He got embarrassed last year. That old man down in Tampa Bay embarrassed him. So same thing's gonna happen again. He raises a big. Well, he already said if they make it to the Super Bowl, he's gonna set it out. He's gonna protest.
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did say that.
No, he didn't.
He said if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're gonna set out because he's gonna protest the NFL's COVID policies.
I actually heard the interview. He said that the person that quoted him on that was wrong, and he said that's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's what I would say too.
Well,
After
I want to hear him. I want to hear him on audio say it.
Yeah, you won't get it.
Yeah, he'll get that phone call from Roger Goodell going, Aaron, I'm pulling the refs off of your team, and I'm putting them on another team. Right then, they'll say, we're pulling them off your team. You got to win on your own for now, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers always scares me because he's done it to us too many times in regular season.
I want to ask you guys a couple questions, though, Alan, as soon as you're done.
But I think we can beat them clowns. Just because I hate Green Bay almost as much as Ian hates the Steelers. I'm not a Steelers fan. I hate them too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna root for them on this weekend just because I want the Chiefs to lose. And it's just out of spite. It ain't for no other reason but spite that I want the Chiefs to lose.
Why you hate the Chiefs, man?
Nah. You know why I hate the Chiefs? Because the quarterback can't get his little brother under control.
Hey, now that's true because we've had that talk around here because we all grew up, or my kids all grew up with their little brother acting a fool. You know what? He's been acting a fool like that since he was on high school on the sidelines at White House High School. And you know what? His family, from what I understand, back and even in high school, Alan, had tried to talk to him, whatever. But he is, to be honest with you, I don't want to say this on there. He's a little different, let's just say. And they've always just allowed him to be himself.
Before you get going here, Coach, let's hear what Jerry got to say real quick on what we've been talking about here, and then we'll get you on there. Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I believe I'm going to go back to what you said, Ian. Nobody in the playoffs right now scares me at all. Nobody. Because, I've seen our good, our bad. I've defended Dak Prescott, and defended him. And, he hasn't been the same really since he come back from his calf injury. He looked pretty good other night, and everybody's like, well, y'all beat their second team. Well, we beat their A team 41-20 something, so I don't want to hear that either. So we whooped their ass too. Next,
yeah, I was there for that.
So
and I will say he hadn't looked the same since we had the bye week. Since the Patriot game, he hadn't looked the same. Is that by design? Is he really hurt? I don't think he's really hurt because we've seen him move around now. Is that by design by the coordinators and such? Who knows? I don't know. But he,
and it just, I think we're going to be there. I'm like Alan though. I just cannot. I can't pull for the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. It's just not in my blood. I just can't do it. And as bad as I want to pull against John Brent because him and his Mahomes love, it drives me nuts. But I can't make myself do it. I cannot make myself pull for the Steelers. And I agree with you. I like Tomlin. Ian. That's the only good part of the Steelers is the fact of their head coach. But living up here in Fort Worth, you hear a lot of stuff on ESPN and stuff like that. And I said this earlier. Everybody's saying that Dan Quinn has not broke out anything as far as defense. Well, we're going to see things this weekend that nobody else has seen. And they say the same thing about Kellen Moore, and I hope so. But we cannot get up 20 points and say, oh, we got this in the bag and pull the dogs off. If our dogs are in their throat, we need to let them bleed out right there in the end zone. To let them bleed out. That's just plain and simple. We cannot call the dogs off. We have to play the whole 4 quarters. We can't take 1 quarter off. We have to play the entire game. It's that simple. If we want to win, we got to play.
Jerry, I'll say this is if we played like some of these games and that we won in December, but the offense was spitter and sputter, they need to freaking go ahead and fire as soon as we lose. They need to fire Kellen Moore, and that's just my thoughts on it. Is if he comes out like that, if he comes out like airing out the first part of the season and we really putting points on the board and things like that, that's different. But if we come out spitter and sputtering for 3.5 quarters and say, oh, now after we're down 21, we're thinking about maybe we need to score a freaking touchdown, he needs to go. He just needs to go and let him go coach for somewhere and let somebody try to jump in all on that. That's just my opinion because next year I think there's only 21 free agents on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Only. And
well,
so this team will not be there next year.
Right.
I hate to say it. Now there's a core nucleus that'll be there, but what do you do with all that? And we don't need to get in that yet. Go ahead, Coach. I apologize.
Well, one of the stats I looked at, I love to talk about stats when you talk about the last 9 games that we played, the Cowboys are 6-3. The last 9 games San Francisco's played, they're 7-2. Of those 6-3, the Cowboys have beat one team with a winning record. One team with a winning record. And San Francisco's beat 3 teams with a winning record. So they hadn't, been playing a bunch of great teams either. But think about that. We've beat one team with a winning record in the last 9 games. San Francisco's beat 3. So this is not like we're not playing great teams every week. And one of those teams that we beat is the Eagles, and they had half a squad play. So it's a little scary right now because when we're talking about playing teams that have been winning all year, not just, because we had a really good start and had a little lull, and it looks like, okay, we're gangbusters at the end. We're winning 4, 5, 6-3 at the end, but we're beating teams that are losing teams. Now, every one of these teams are in the playoffs right now are teams that have 9 wins minimum. Most of them have 11-12, maybe even 13. Those are teams that are going to be every single game. So like I said, for us to make this, I think it's really difficult for us to win this game. But if we do win this game, which we should win this game, we have more talent to win the 49ers game. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You do have to beat the 49ers. You probably will have to beat the Buccaneers, and you will then have to beat Green Bay at Lambeau in probably 5-degree weather to go play Kansas City or the Titans. I mean, that's a lot to do because think about it. When's the last time we played 4 winning teams with records, 10 or more in a row and won those games? That's why
Coach,
it's a difficult thing.
One thing I will say is I believe this, and people will laugh at me all they want. We play San Francisco, which we are, and if we get out of that and play we play Tampa Bay or Philly, and then we play the Green Bay Packers. I honestly think that the San Francisco game will be harder for us than the other 2 games because there's so much unpredictability with the San Francisco 49ers and us. I think after we start getting some traction, we know who the Packers are. We really don't know which San Francisco team is going to show up, and we don't know which Cowboy team is going to show up. We know who the Buccaneers are, but we don't know that. So I honestly think mentally, the 49er game is harder for us than the other 2 would be if we progress. So that's just me.
Of the 6-3, I said the last 3 losses we've had are the only teams that we played with winning records outside the Eagles. Like I said, you can throw that game away for both of us. We lost the Cardinals, lost the Raiders, and lost the Chiefs. All 3 of those are in the playoffs. The wins that we had, Eagles half a squad, but we had Washington twice, the Giants once, the Saints, and the Falcons.
Well, I don't want to hear about the half the squad and all that stuff. They're professional.
Oh, you need to. Yeah, they're professional.
Athletes. They're next man up.
You ain't scoring 50 on their full team.
Because you look at us. You look at the Cowboys. We have people out all year too. We have people we play without Dak. We play without Amari. We play without Tyron Smith. We play without Collins. We've been without Gallup. We've been without a lot of them too.
Well, Jerry, I want to say this real quick. Some part I agree with you, Coach, but the other part is nobody goes walk in and get 50 hung on them. And we beat them 40-something with their full squad when they had the top-ranked defense in the NFL, and everybody said we was going to lose at home on that game to the Eagles. And what we are good at is when people don't give us credit and they say you're going to lose or you're barely going to win. This team has been good about persevering over that. That's just my thoughts. So it's kind of hard to say because this team is hard to predict. It's hard to gauge. Will they flip the switch?
Yeah, I've only seen 2 games this year where we were actually underdogs. The first game of the year and also against the Chiefs. We lost both of those. I don't believe we were underdogs any other team we played.
There was like 2 others earlier in the year. We wound up winning them, but they came in and said that we didn't have. Well, I think actually when we went to Carolina, they sit there and had us either barely winning that game or not winning it at all.
Wasn't we the underdogs to the Chargers?
I doubt that, but
I think we were because Chargers. I think we were because Chargers were rolling then, and they said we were supposed to lose that game. I think we were underdogs to the Chargers.
Yeah, that was week 2. It would be if we were. It would be on the road game. It would be a close game. I'll look it up.
But I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Alan?
I don't give a rat's ass about stats. Me personally, we don't get to pick our schedule. I mean, we can't help we're in the conference we're in. I mean, Washington sucked for years. The Eagles have been rebuilding for years. The Giants are just god awful. I mean, they're so bad. I feel sorry for them. And now they don't have a coach or a general manager. They fired the coach today. The general manager retired. So I mean, we don't get to pick who we play. We don't get to pick when we play them. So when they pile all the garbage on the bottom, it makes us look great. Yeah, because we go out there and we put up 50 and 40. But hey, like Jerry said, you get paid millions of dollars to come out there and play a kid's game. You better be training just in case that man in front of you goes down. So, we had COVID. We all had COVID. Hell, I had COVID. So I don't want to hear we had COVID. Pollard's been out. Tyrone Smith. We listed all the guys that were out. We still won when we didn't have some of our key guys. So we didn't have our key. Believe me.
I mean, we beat the Patriots.
Fans.
Yeah, we beat the Patriots. Yeah, we beat the Patriots without our quarterback. I mean, that's a big win right there without our quarterback. That's a huge win.
No, we had him. We beat the Vikings.
We didn't have our quarterback in Minnesota.
And we still won on the road. That's a tough spot.
Yeah,
but
in
Minnesota. To answer
the
question for Jerry, we were 3-point favorite, or excuse me, we were 3-point underdogs to Chargers. We were 4-point favorites against Carolina.
Okay. But what I'm saying is some of those, like the Carolina one, I was expecting us to be way over that anyhow, and they have us so close and tight that I'm like, I don't like to use this phrase, but they ain't giving us no respect, but they wasn't really thinking that we were all that. Let me just say it like that, But I agree. The schedule, to me, everything don't matter anymore until now. Now, like Dak said, the shit starts now. That's an accurate statement, and I just think that it'll be interesting to say the least. And I think this first game is going to be is going to be a tough game. It won't be an easy. We can't go in there and yawn and think we're going to go beat them like we did the Denver, like we thought we were with the Denver Broncos. Absolutely. We can't go in there like that.
No. Hey, Vet, what I want to do before we leave is I want everybody to give their prediction for the Cowboy game with a score. I hope you guys have that. If not, come up with it. I got mine. And if you want me to, I can start if y'all guys want to think about it, but I'd like to see if you guys want to go first.
It's going to be 3 points. That's my favorite prediction is 3. Us by 3. I don't care how you get the numbers, but it's us by 3. I'm going to tell you what. I hope Dak really does, deep in his heart, feel that the shit starts now, because if he don't do something now, this is how he's going to be remembered. Because Kellen Moore probably won't be here next season. Dan Quinn will not be here next season.
No.
So Ian talking about we're going to lose some players. No doubt about that. We're going to lose Dan Quinn. And I was listening to Nate Newton on their podcast this morning, and he was telling the Cowboys keep Dan Quinn. No matter what, keep Dan Quinn. And you know what? I've never been a Dan Quinn fan, left or right, but Hey, he's proven to me he is a defensive coordinator way better than he was a head coach. And that's who we need to be trying to keep. If we got some coaching money laying around, and yeah, fire Kellen Moore, let Dan Quinn do both of them. I don't care, but we need to keep Dan Quinn for defense. But
McCarthy
better
will take
have
back
something.
over the offense if Dan Quinn, if Moore goes, which that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, but I think 3 points. Dallas wins by 3.
Jerry, what's your prediction?
31-24 Dallas.
There you go.
I
Ian?
think it's going to be fairly high scoring because we can pass on them, but we're going to have to get, like Alan said earlier, we got to get Cooper involved quick because Coop throws a fit when he don't get in, and he got a legitimate reason because the boy can catch the ball and he runs good routes.
He'll be gone next season too.
Well, I think this right here is it's a hard one. One part of me says this, another part of me says this. Part of me agrees with Alan. It's going to be like 3 points, but I think the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to keep them under 18 points. It's going to keep them somewhere 18 and below. And whether the Cowboys offense score 21 or they score 30, I'm hoping. I don't know. But I think by 3, I think the D will keep them to 18 points. So
Well,
it's a hard one.
I kind of understand that. One of the things I look at is the last few weeks. One of the things that we've talked about here is the Cowboys have to get out to a good start. I think they will. That's my opinion. I think they'll come out in a good start. San Francisco has had slow starts in the last 3 or 4 weeks. They come back at the end. So what I see is the Cowboys winning 28-26, and this is how it'll play out. Cowboys will be up somewhere around 21-10. Looks like it's going to be an easy run. They'll make a run. We'll score a late touchdown to go up 28-20. They'll make a touchdown with less than a minute to go. Make it 28-26. They'll have to go for 2. They'll miss it. 28-26 Cowboys is the way I feel. But I think the Cowboys will get that start. They'll be out 10 points in the first quarter, give us a little breathing room, and then that way we can play that Dallas Cowboy crazy defense against that broke thumb boy.
Well, I'll say this. If we go up 10 to 14 points, that broke thumb boy is going to have to start throwing. And
Exactly.
I think you're going to see number 7, and you're going to see some others come up with some damn INTs.
Well,
I don't care who comes up with them.
And Vet,
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, I could see it being 21-7 at halftime, but the way that the fight that's in the 49ers, them coming back at the end, I think they'll make a run at the end. But I think it'll be about a 2 to 3 point game.
But
That's the playoffs.
I think we all said this. If we get it where it stays in Garoppolo's hands to throw it, and you isolate Kittle and you isolate Samuel, and then I think honestly, there's going to be some secondary happy in Dallas. So we'll see.
But you need to go back to what, John Brandt said earlier, you put 2 on Kittle, you put 2 on Debo Samuel,
Yeah.
and you make Jimmy G beat us.
Because they're going to throw screens and run. They're going to throw screens and run.
Jimmy G cannot beat us if you take Kittle and Debo completely out. If you take them out of the game, they cannot beat us.
No, and that's what you do is you put 2 on them. You put 2 on them, kind of like a boxing one, as Jerry knows, playing with basketball with kids. You boxing one's their best player. If you put 2 on these guys, pretty much playing up close and deep, and those 2 are on those 2, and the rest play a zone around the back, and you have 2 deep safety. And I'm telling you right now, the thing that's going to have to happen is we're going to have to tackle those boys in the run. But if we can tackle those boys in the run and do that, man, we'll blow them out. What's going to happen is if they start running and getting 125, 130, 140 yards late in the second half, that's a problem for us.
Yeah, it is.
Let's stop that run.
Now, I will say on offense, I think you're going to have to use Pollard and let him go. Unleash that.
Get him outside, baby. Get him outside.
I think they're going to unleash him. They set him this week. That's 1. And 2, when we had 50 points on one and 50 points on the other, what did we do? Dak threw for more than 8 yards like 10 times in the first half on both. He led the entire league throwing.
We're going to be close enough to the sidelines. I'm going to make this sign that says Pollard sweep left, turn around. Pollard sweep right.
There you
Pollard
go.
Sweep
There
left,
you go.
Pollard sweep right.
So we'll see.
Outside.
The coach and I are going to be there. Coach invited me to come along, and I was like, okay, yeah.
White jerseys, guys. White jerseys.
Hey,
It's
I'm going to tell you right
out.
now, we went and broke the bank today to buy 2 of them. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Coach
It's
is
a
wearing
white
white
out.
Coach
I got
is
a
wearing
white
white thong.
Yeah, white thong and Cooper jersey.
Right. Right before Alan got on, we were talking about it. Jerry Jones went on today on the radio saying that fourth down is going to be addressed a whole lot different in the playoffs than it has been, because Zerline just isn't cutting it for us. So you don't, 4th and 3s, 4th and 2s, I can see us going for them.
I'll
say
say
right
this.
now.
Go ahead.
I'll say this real quick, Vet. I have coached in the playoffs, and it's just high school, okay? It's not college. It's not the NFL, okay? But there's one thing you got to realize. Sometimes in tight playoff games, tight games where people are really close, the punter is the best person for those kind of games. Sometimes when it's 4th and 1.5, 4th and 1, and you're at the 40 and you think, maybe I should just punt the ball down into 10, let your defense work. Don't get crazy and get McCarty trying to be some craziness. Punt the darn ball.
Right.
We got a defense.
If
we got a defense and let them and unleash them. But I'll say this, Jerry. And if not, whoever the damn guard is that ain't on the line, Williams or McGovern, whichever one it is, or McConnor, put them back there with Steele and freaking run a goddamn power eye right down their throats and just bust up that little face mask of old Boza a couple times to slow him down.
Let Zeke hit him. Let Zeke hit Boza. Let him come free and let Zeke pop him a couple times. See what we got.
But have you seen? And we have. I mean, I don't remember. So y'all need to walk me down memory lane. Have we had an offense this year where we had Pollard and Zeke in the backfield at the same time?
Yes.
We've had like one of them split out wide more.
No, in the backfield, like a good old fashioned power eye or a split tailbacks. Have we had any of that this year?
Maybe, but I think when we start out with that, and then one runs out in motion.
Goes in motion. Well, I kind of see what Jerry's saying. If you put Zeke on the left and Paul on the right, and you ran a sweep to the left and have Zeke as your lead blocker, and then you got somebody coming around that's pulling, that would be great. You can't do that too many times; they'll figure it out. But it would be good to be like a 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5, where it's normally a passing. You put that back there and have the decent defense trying to figure out what's going on, and you pitch that ball out there like that. And then another time you can fake pitch and bootleg out, and Dak's going to be wide open the other way.
Well, a week ago, Kellen Moore did run where he had like one of the guards in the backfield, and everybody they're going to go right up the middle with it, and they passed out.
We need to be flipping 1st and 2nd downs early on. Get them off the rhythm of what we are. Flip them 1st and 2nd downs off the bat.
But we can't dink and dunk. We got to get down the field. We got to
8 yards.
15. We got to go 15, 20 yards down the field. We have to.
You can, and I'll tell you this, guys, as a football coach, y'all know this too. Y'all watch enough. Y'all just be good coaches. I am. When you have 3rd and 4 or less, if you can do that 3 or 4 times in a row, it's a huge demoralizing thing for a defense, because they got no idea what you're going to do. But the Dallas Cowboys are 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. They're in trouble.
They pin their ears back and come after us.
So one thing that I haven't looked at all with the 49ers is how are they on the run? Their run defense. I haven't looked at it at all.
I think the last I saw, they're about middle of the pack, 12 and 14 and on against the run.
Okay. So
that's about how we're running, about 12 to 14. We ain't been running crap.
Well, when Zeke's rushed for more than 85 yards a game, we haven't lost this year.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I've said it all along, Jerry. I've said it for the last 3 years. If you get the boy 25 touches, we win. Give him 25 touches. I don't care what kind of touches.
1 or 2.
We just win because it takes the load off everything else. All right, we got to get out of here.
I got to get out of here. I got to go home. I got to eat.
So
I'm starving.
I'm gonna throw it around real quick to the coach, and then we're gonna get the flock out of here.
Wait, I'll tell you right now. No, hold on, real quick. I want to say this. This has been one of the best parts of the coaching event for me over the last 2 years is doing the 4th game, the 8th game, the 3rd quarter, and the end of the season with these guys from Pittsburgh. We all think we know everything about football. That's what's awesome. So does everybody else at this time of the year. But I'm gonna tell you what, we have to have one Super Bowl week again. I would love to have one Super Bowl week where we do it again. But I'm going to tell you what, when the season ends, I'm going to be sad for the football, but also be sad because we won't get to do these shows too, Vet. I really enjoy these.
I agree. These have been fun. And we get to mix it up with our people we grew up with.
Right.
And, we're not having Sandlot baseball or football. We're just having it over the Electron. So it's
football, baby. Let's go.
So
from the coach, Ghost Runners
to the Vet.